Hello friends, the business letters studied till now were in form of personal letters, that is, it was in form of one-to-one communication. The letters that we are about to study in this session are of one-to-many form, that is, one correspondent addressing common message to many recipients. Have a look at this example. Dear patrons, we have pleasure in informing you that from 1st April 2011, we are shifting to our new office premises at 5th floor MG Road, Andheri West, Mumbai. This location is very convenient from our business point of view and we would be able to serve our customers better. Yours truly. Now, friends, if we consider this example, the message is common and is expected to reach many concerned person at a time. These types of letters are popularly known as circular letters. Circular letters are letters which are sent to a large number of persons at the same time. The most common form is a notice of meeting sent to members. The circular letter is the most suitable form when the same message is to be carried to a larger number of persons. The circular letter may be in the form of internal letters circulated to employees of the company or may be in the form of external letters circulated to the stakeholders outside the company. The obvious economy in time and money points to its great advantage. Thus, mass production may be said to be the most important characteristics of circular letter. In business, there are numerous occasions on which circular letters are sent. Let us list some of these occasions. Say establishment of new business, extension or transfer of the business, for example, opening of new department or a branch or expansion of premises, etc. Or say changes in the policies of the firm. Example, changes in recruitment and selection policy, change in credit policy, change in purchase policy, etc. Or announcement of new schemes, change in price list or distributors profit margin, or say information about promotional campaign undertaken by the company. For example, participation in trade fairs, sponsorship of sports event, of advertisement slots on television and such, or say dissolution or discontinuation of a business, or say change in the constitution of the business, that is from proprietorship to partnership, or admission of a new partner, retirement of a partner, death of a partner, conversion of a business into private limited and such, or say granting or withdrawal of legal authorities. Sales letter, sale of business premises. As stated earlier, the major advantage of circular letter is reaching to masses with effective use of time and money. Most of the circulars are in form of notice and therefore drafted in a very plain and formal style. This is mainly because the purpose of this letter is to provide some information or bring awareness. On the other hand, when the circular letter is not just a notice, be a medium to persuade the respondent and appeal for some response, it has to be carefully drafted. Sales letter is a best example of this type of circular letter. When circular letter is written to persuade the reader, care must be taken to make it interesting. The reader does not anticipate to look forward for a circular letter, and unless his attention is attracted and interest is sustained, he is likely to discard it. The use of you attitude, catchy words and sentences and different types, colors, etc. are some ingredients of an effective circular letter. Since you have to draft the letter only once, you should bring it to perfection after revising it for several drafts. In fact, the best letter writers in your organizations should join together to produce an excellent draft. It is also possible to get it drafted by an expert or a publicity firm. The very nature of duplication leads the reader to think that he is not the only one to receive that letter. Therefore, the circular letter should sound personal. Further, any carelessness in writing or producing a circular letter may produce mass irritation. If by some inadvertent or negligent statement you irritate a customer, the mistake will be magnified by the number of copies. In case a single letter error can be rectified by another letter, regretting the error. This becomes difficult in case of circular letter. Friends, let us list down some of the benefits and disadvantages of circular letters. Advantages are: common message can be circulated to number of concerned readers. Second, duplication of work is saved. Next is mass distribution and production of letter leads to saving of time and money. Another aspect is internal communication becomes simpler and effective with the help of circular letter. But at the same time, disadvantages are that circular letter lacks a personal touch. The message cannot be customized easily. Error in the letter or inappropriate approach cannot be rectified easily. The effect of error is replicated to a large scale. The appeal made through circular letter may fetch limited response. Circular letters returned to person bearing authoritative position may not be entertained. In spite of these limitations, circular letters are commonly used in communicating various messages in business organization. It should be remembered that a circular letter binds the signatory as much as any other letter. No promises should be made which cannot be kept. Just because they are produced in masses, there is no reason to make them cheap. A bad circular letter is an adverse publicity, though a good one will not necessarily bring you a sale or a desired result. Friends, since our subject is related to business correspondence, we will study sales letter as a circular letter in detail. Sales letter. Friends, have you ever been a subscriber of Reader's Digest or Amar Chitra Katha or Chanda Mama? If yes, have you ever received any letter from these publishing houses? I am sure you will recall lot of regular correspondences from these publishing houses. These letters are usually related with new offerings, discount on subscription, appeal to suggest address of 3 friends who are interested in subscribing these magazines. All these forms of communication falls under the type of sales letter. Sales letter is one of the important form of circular letter. Friends, by now we have understood different occasions when business letters are written. For instance, we have seen how quotation is written as an answer to the letter of enquiry, how letter of order is written. All these letters are written by seller to the buyer. In other words, these were personal letters addressed to a particular buyer's requirement. We are aware that today every business is operating in a very competitive environment. Seller has to be proactive in terms of getting customers. For this, the seller has to take initiatives to reach to the buyer. Sales letter is an important tool to reach to potential buyers. So, a sales letter, as the name suggests, is a letter that attempts to sell something. It is a circular which is printed or duplicated, of which several copies are made and sent out. Since a sales letter is a letter to sell something, it has often been compared to a salesman. Usually, brochures, leaflets, a letter and such combine to form a sales mailing. For the seller, Intermediaries in the chain of distribution are also their customers, and correspondence to intermediaries is a very common form of sales letter. This sales letter that we are about to discuss here are those letters which are written by seller to the end user rather than intermediaries. As we begin our discussion of sales message, we would note that they are a most controversial area of business communication. Probably you know from your own experience that direct mail sales literature is not always received happily. Called junk mail, these mailing often go into the waste basket without being read. Even so, they must be successful, for the direct mail business has survived over a century. Sales messages sent by email appear to be creating even more hostility among intended customers. Angrily, we refer it as spam. This is because these messages clutter our inboxes. Maybe the range results from the fact that mass mailing place heavy burden on internet provider, driving up the costs of the user, or perhaps the fact that they invade the reader's privacy is to blame. Let us not take any stand on this issue. Our goal is to understand importance of sales letter and know how to write effective sales letter. We can only suggest that companies can follow their conscience and to be ethical while writing sales letter. Let us understand importance of sales letter with the help of case. Dear Professor, we once received the following application from a candidate. With reference to you advertisement in the Times of India for account trainee, please consider me. Well, we did consider him. We sent him a copy of a Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English. Yours truly. Needless to say that this is an example of sales message given by dictionary seller by humorously highlighting the importance of spelling and need of dictionary. Let us consider some more cases of sales messages. Case second. Dear professional, why spend sleepless night tossing and turning in bed, wishing that the day would come? Why should you have to stay awake when some lucky people can put aside their day's task and drift happily into the land of dream? Lack of sleep is known to lead to premature aging, blood pressure and other illness, besides making a person irritable and unable to concentrate. Wake up bright and fresh in the morning instead of just beginning to doze off when the alarm rings. Our courses of 12 weeks special massages has helped hundreds of executives in such prestigious organizations as so and so to regain their night's sleep. You will begin to feel the difference within 1 week of the first massage. Yours truly. Now, let us consider purpose of sales letter. As the name suggests, sales letters are preliminarily written to generate sales, but not all sales letter attempt a direct sale of goods and services. Let us list down some of the major objectives behind writing sales letter. To generate sales through direct mailing, to market a new product by arousing interest among potential buyers, to obtain an inquiry, to build goodwill after the transaction is over by stressing after sales service, to prepare the ground for the visit of a salesman, to arouse interest by announcing the result of a test or survey, to reach sales resistant customers, to educate the public about the new services or product, to expand the market for an existing product by repeating its good points, to arouse interest in the enterprise itself and its plans and objective as well as its future production plans. Now, let us consider importance of sales letter. Though sales letter does not possess personal touch that a salesman has, yet it is much less expensive than a salesman. Secondly, it reaches the client however busy he may be, whereas salesman has to repeatedly and sometimes unsuccessfully request for appointment. It is an important medium to reach the targeted section, and it is effective form of advertisement as the appeal can be focused and directed to the needed readers. The sales letter can be used to develop far-flung areas into potential sales territories. Sales letters are sent out to a definite number of persons. The result of sending the letters can be accurately tested. Now, next is the when the sales letter is read, there are no other items competing with it, as when a person reads a newspaper or magazine and has his attention diverted by several other advertisements on the same page. The sales letter is also a more personal message, and it can concentrate on the product and service without having to bother about eye-catching pictures or entertainment. The importance of the study of sales letter is very great for students of commerce and management, as the modern trend is to sales orient each and every business correspondence. The basic principle behind every successful sales letter is an effective use of you attitude, and by using you attitude in business correspondence, they become sales oriented. In no area of business communication is the you viewpoint more important than in sales writing. We human beings are selfish creatures. We are persuaded best through self-interest. Thus, in sales writing, you should base your sales point on reader's interest. You should liberally use and imply the pronoun you throughout the sales message. Friends, the elements of effective letter writing are no doubt applicable to sales letter too, but there are certain other aspects that have to be studied in order to draft an effective sales letter. Sales letter is written in order to persuade the reader to respond positively to your offering. So, let us talk on the art of persuasion before we study some of the components of sales letter. Persuasion. There are two ways of making people do what you want. One, force, and second, persuade. If you compel a person to do your bidding, you are behaving like a despot, tyrant or bully, which is undesirable. Persuasion is better way, but remember, persuasion is not pleading. Persuasion is a process by which a person's attitude and behavior towards something are influenced by other person's communication. Messrs. Human, Lahef and Penrose define persuasion as the art of getting people to do something that they won't ordinarily do if you did not ask, while a dictionary meaning is causing an individual to believe or do something by reasoning with him or her. Persuasion can be used to make a prospective customer buy a product, to make subordinates work better, to suggest a plan or a change to superiors, to bring around antagonistic parties, to improve image of the organization. In letter writing, however, persuasion is used by adopting the you attitude. The art of persuasion is very powerful weapon in the armory of business communication, and the student of the subject would do well to note the 4 steps that have to be taken to attain the objective. Studying the situation, turning the mind of the receiver, delivering the message, and prompting action. Studying the situation. The persuader must be very clear in his own mind as to the reason why he wishes to persuade. He must mentally chalk up the plus and minus points and also find out the attitudes of the person whom he wishes to persuade. Next is turning the mind of the receiver. He must try to overcome the resistance of the receiver of the message by putting him in a pleasant and receptive frame of mind. This can be done by agreeing with him in some matters, or paying compliments to his intelligence, adaptability, open mindedness, etc., or delaying mentioning bad news or unpleasant aspects of the topic, or say speaking from the point of view of the receiver of the message, or trying to get his interest from a personal point of view. Next, third aspect is delivering the message. Having got the receiver in a right frame of mind, the message should be delivered in a friendly tone with the help of persuasive arguments. The bad news or unpleasant aspects must be mentioned, but not stressed. And lastly, promoting action. The receiver of the message should be promoted to act on the basis of the message. This stage can be achieved only when the first three steps have been taken effectively. It should be noted that the 4 steps mentioned can be effective only if the credibility of the speaker or writer is not in doubt. A credible writer or speaker is one that is believed by those who receive message. Therefore, credibility is a base of persuasion. Perhaps you will never write sales letter, the real ones, you know. In business, professional writers usually write them. These professionals achieve their status by practicing long and hard, and usually they are blessed with a special talent of writing. Why then, you might ask, should you study sales writing? The answer is that even an amateurish effort to write sales message gives you knowledge of selling techniques that will help you in many of your other activities. Especially will it help you in writing other business messages, for in a sense most of them involve selling something, say an idea, a line of reasoning, your company, yourself. Sales technique will be more valuable to you than you might think. After you have gone through these sessions, you should see that. Friends, in this session we have studied the importance of circular letter and sales letter. In our next session we will consider the practical aspects of drafting a sales letter. Thank you.